I'm gonna try some. This looks really, really, really good. It's so, so good. Say hi.
Hi.
All right, we're about to go into Costco. We're gonna see what we can find, get some of our goodies that we like to get for our monthly trip to Costco. We do not live close to Costco. It's like an hour drive from our house. So we're gonna try and make the best of our trip and get what we wanna stock up on.
Jacket.
What are you looking for today, Sadie?
I don't know.
Heidi, you gonna get anything?
No, maybe if I see any good like clothes or something, I might get them.
Clothes?
Yeah.
What about you, Bubba?
I don't know.
What are you looking for?
Pop it. Whoa, Mommy.
What? What? Plants.
Oh, yeah, plants.
Refrain from buying plants. Note to self. Ooh, I want this tent.
200.
It's a lighted tent.
$40. Look how big this is.
I was just telling your daddy the other day that I wanted a tent.
Really want to be.
Ellie said that she's wanting samples while we're here.
I do.
These are good. Life straws, those are good to have if you don't have any life straws.
I don't usually want.
And they've changed them. They look a little bit different than they used to look. Bubba, look at that. That's for when you do yard work with Daddy. Look how big that is. Hold it. It's huge. We gotta look at the kitchen stuff. We can't pass up the kitchen stuff before we get to the food. Oh, that's cute. Is that cute? This looks kind of like the Temptations wear on QVC. That's cute. They're heavy though. Ooh.
Wow.
Little pasta bowls. I like pasta bowls, but I'm wanting to get some other kinds for your daddy. What's the difference? You're getting those and not those?
These are the ones that are sweet, and these are the ones that to me are more like sour. I like the sweet ones. I like the sweet ones.
You think these are sweeter?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They're good.
Hey, do y'all see any of those, what we're looking for? What did I tell you we're looking for?
Mommy,
Dragon fruit. Yes, we need some bananas. Oh, look at that bear. Hey, Ellie, we need some onions. Can you get some onions? And we need some garlic, Ellie. No. We need some garlic. Can you get some garlic, Heidi? What'd you get? An apple? Ooh.
Apples.
Good. Let's see. Maybe we'll get some potatoes too. Let's go look in here. It's cold.
Oh, so cold.
There, you need strawberries? Does Bear need some strawberries? Yeah. Y'all pick out some good strawberries. Maybe some grapes if we make a charcuterie board. Let's get these, because I like because we're gonna try and do like red, white, and blue theme.
Oh yeah.
So. And blueberries maybe, or no? Let's get some blackberries, some strawberries, some raspberries. I need more peppers, for sure, always peppers. Whichever ones look good. See anything good? Okay, we are home and Heidi is sampling
The
grapes. Are they good?
They're delicious.
We got those probably for like a charcuterie board that we want to make. I went ahead and changed my clothes because it's hot outside, but here's some of the stuff that we like to get from Costco. So I like to get the rotisserie chickens. I got a couple of these today and I'll show you what I do with the rotisserie chickens. Some of the organic spaghetti sauce. I like to make my homemade spaghetti sauce, but every now and then if I'm lazy, then I will like to just make the Pioneer Woman recipe for spaghetti. These things are so good. Kyle and I love these, and you can have them if you're eating keto. Big thing of chocolate chips. Right now is the time for corn. So we got some corn, some tortillas, some good salmon, just stuff like that. So I'm gonna put everything up, and then I'm gonna show you how I like to food prep some of my hamburger meat that I got. I got some roast and the chicken, of course. So some of the things that I got today were on sale, like this chicken apple sausage. The kids and I really like to have this like for breakfast in the morning sometimes, or even like at dinner if we have like a breakfast for dinner. It's not exactly breakfast, but that's just kind of like how we like it. Anyways, it's a good one, and it was like $3 off today. I like to get these for Kyle, and the reason why I like to get these is because when I make recipes, he usually doesn't, he has not eaten carbs and gluten and all that kind of stuff in like 5 years, until the other day when he sampled some of the salmon Wellington, and I had a little bit of the breadcrumbs in the cream cheese mixture. That was his first time. But besides that, like he loves to eat these with dip and stuff, and I like to use these, like I'll crumble them up and make breadcrumbs. So I use these in place of breadcrumbs for his breadcrumbs for like keto, low carb friendly type meals. These are amazing. We've been eating these for quite a few years. If you have not seen these and you like to have healthier options for chips, low carb, keto, whatever, or just because like I prefer these almost over like regular tortilla chips. They are so good. You can get the bigger bag at Costco for a lot cheaper than, you know, at the grocery store for like a bag half the size. But this is one of our staples in our house that we like to get from Costco. Bell peppers and garlic always. I have tons of peppers growing out in the garden, and I actually just picked one yesterday. Well, Bear picked it yesterday, but it's always good to have more. I like to sometimes chop them up with some onions and freeze them for a meal. That way it's quick. One thing I want to highly encourage a lot of you to do is keep stocking up on just your normal types of spices, pepper, salt, our favorite garlic powder, seasoned salt, like bouillons, all that kind of stuff. It's really important to make sure you have all your herbs and seasonings and all that in stock. With everything going on right now with the inflations and all that kind of stuff, it's a good idea. Every time you go to the store, get yourself some seasonings, whether they're big or little. Just always add some to your collection. While I was there, I went ahead and bought the salmon, and I think I'm probably gonna skin these and then cut them either in half or like in thirds and then put them in my food saver bags. Okay, so today at Costco, I went ahead and got some of their hamburger meat while I was there because I'm running low on hamburger meat. And tonight I'm making some sloppy joes for the kids and I. So I went ahead and got some. But instead of putting it into the freezer with just one big blob or a couple blobs, I like to get each one and put them in individual food saver bags. So these are divided into a little over 5 pounds. So each one is a little over a pound each. So I like to put each pound or a little bit more than a pound in its own bag. And then I press them and I food save them. This is one of my favorite ways to kind of get the right portions of meat that I need to feed the kids and I. If you haven't noticed, Kyle eats low carb. So the reason why sometimes I say the kids and I is because usually if I'm making something for the kids and I, it contains carbs or it may contain sugar. And Kyle doesn't eat lots of wheat or gluten or any of that kind of stuff or sugar. So a lot of times I'll make him the same thing, but separate. So, but if Kyle is eating like the same meal with us, then usually I'll need 2 of these. So like 2 pounds. But if it's burgers, I need like 6 pounds because Kyle will have like 3 pounds of it to himself on his own burger. I'm just saying. All right, so I'm gonna show you, I just put, not perfect yet. Just gonna get each one in its own bag. And this one actually, it seems like this one had a little bit more in it. So if there's like a bag that I think probably needs to have a little bit more, then I'll just stick some in there. And that's how I do that part. Now, this is what I do with each one. So with each one, you know, that's in a ball like this, I go ahead, have it in its ball, kind of flatten it out, push it down, flatten out again, push it down, and I get it until it covers up basically the whole bottom base, like this. And I get it really flat, or as flat as I want, about 1/2 inch thick. And then I'm just going to food save each one individually. So this one's moist. We're gonna go ahead and do a vacuum and seal. All right, so this is how it's gonna look. Nice and flat. The reason why I do this is because in my freezer, I can have a ton more room if I go ahead and do all of them like this and stack them up or have them going this way. You save a ton of room by doing that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all of these the same way, and then I'm gonna do this one as well. So really quickly, I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing right now with my rotisserie chickens is I am going to peel off the skin, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get all the meat from the chicken, the white meat and the dark meat, and I'm gonna put it inside of my KitchenAid stand mixer, and then I'm gonna shred it, and I am going to save it for later, and I'm gonna show you how and why I do this. Okay, so I went ahead and I shredded all this chicken, the rotisserie chickens from Costco. And now I'm gonna show you how I am going to put these in the food sealing bags. And these are gonna give us like 3 or 4 meals for the week for the kids and I. I love doing this because this is great for like chicken pot pies, chicken spaghetti, chicken Alfredo, chicken quesadillas, all sorts of stuff. Now you can just have your cooked chicken. Okay, so for those chuck roasts that I bought from Costco, went ahead and I cut them in half because they're so large that a lot of times when I make like one big one, you know, for one meal, whether it be like a roast one night or the Mississippi roast or stew or whatever, we always have enough leftovers for at least another dinner or a lunch or something. So instead of that, I decided to go ahead and cut these in half, which will give me 4 separate meals. Because like this one is a really large one. You can't tell in the video maybe, but it's a good size one, which will make a good amount of like a roast for us one night. A little bit smaller. When I pull this one out, when I'm ready to use it, I'm gonna chop it up and make like a stew or carne guisada. Here's another really large one, which will make a great roast meal. And then I got this one's really big and heavy. So I've got good meals right here. So just out of 2 chuck roast, I'm able to have 4 good sized meals for my family and I. For the salmon that I bought, I ended up not taking the skin off because I'm running out of time. But this is gonna be 2 separate meals. And my kids love salmon, so yeah. The rotisserie chicken ended up making 4 good sized bags. These are probably about 1.5 pounds each. This makes 4 meals for my family. And then we've got tons and tons of hamburger meat. So all together, I've got a good amount of meat for a good amount of meals for my family for this month. Okay, so now that I've got all of my meats vacuum sealed, put up, and I cleaned all the kitchen counters, now I'm ready to start dinner. So I am gonna use one of the hamburger meats that I put in the thing. I saved 1 pound aside for tonight's meal. And so one meal that's good to make with 1 pound of hamburger meat that goes a long ways is sloppy joes. And my family loves sloppy joes. So I went ahead and I put in 1 pound of my ground beef that I got today from Costco. And now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm cutting up about 1/2 cup of onion. I'm chopping it, not cutting it. Same difference, right? I did not buy any buns today because I love to get the brioche. I'd like to know how you say that, by the way, because some people say brioche. I say brioche. Some of my other friends said brioche, so that I just roll with brioche. I don't know if that's right or not, but not get buns today because I love the brioche bread and buns and all that kind of stuff from Aldi, of all places. I love Aldi and I love their buns. So when I go do my Aldi runs, I buy a ton of the brioche buns and I put them in the freezer. That way I can pull them out and have them for meals like tonight. So that is why I don't have buns. I didn't get buns today at Costco because I didn't need any. But that's my trick. If you want some good buns, get some brioche buns from Aldi. The ones from other places just don't taste as good for some reason. Okay, so I've got my pound of ground beef. I've got about 1/2 cup or so of onion, and now I'm gonna use about 1/4 cup of some bell pepper. And you can use any bell pepper. I don't use a ton of green bell pepper. Like, I don't buy a ton of green bell pepper from the store. If I use green bell pepper, it's usually because it's one that I grew myself or got at a farmer's market or someone gave one to us. Otherwise, my favorite peppers are red for sure, then orange, then yellow. And they tend to be a little bit more sweeter. And so I am cutting up just this 1/4 cup or 1/4 of your bell pepper. And I'm gonna toss this in here with my ground beef. and my onions. And I'm gonna let these cook for a second. If you don't have one of these, you should get one. Oh my gosh. I've used this for years and I don't know life without one, for real. Like when we went camping, I had to use a spoon and it's just not the same. This one's from Pampered Chef. There's some good ones on Amazon. Breaking up this meat and browning it. Pretty good. We're just gonna let this get brown for a second. It doesn't take too long. And then we're gonna add in our seasonings. Okay, so my meat is almost all browned and cooked through. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in some of my seasonings. I'm gonna do some salt. Lots of salt, y'all. Why did I have my curry out? I have no idea. Obviously, it's been a long day shopping at Costco, right? We're gonna do some pepper to taste. Do however much you like. Now we're gonna put in like about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of garlic garlic powder, sorry. Put in about a teaspoon or so of some ground mustard. If you don't know what that is or where to get it, it's just with your spices. It looks like this, ground mustard. I know like some of my friends have asked me like, what? Because I go through ground mustard quite often and I use it a lot in my recipes, and some of my friends are like, what in the world do you use ground mustard for? And I'm like, oh, sloppy joes. That's just one example. So that is where you get it. So we're gonna give everything a good mix. And now we're gonna add in about 3/4 cup of ketchup. And I'm just gonna use this thing. I'm kind of eyeballing it. It's almost a cup. Put in your ketchup. And about 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. I had made this meal for one of my friends when she was pregnant and I was pregnant, and she had stayed over at my house for a couple of days because she was visiting from out of town. And I had made this and she was like, oh my gosh. At that time, it was one of her husband's like favorite meals, or one of the meals that he really likes. And she's like, oh my gosh, like what is the recipe to your sloppy joes? Like my husband would love these. And I told her, and I'm like, yeah, and it has like lots of brown sugar in it, and that's why it's so good. But it's so good, y'all, I'm telling you. For some reason, and I don't know if I'm just weird or what, but for some reason I cannot, like I grew up eating, my mom would just buy like the packs of, was it McCormick's or something, of the dry seasoning sloppy joe mix. Oh my gosh, like that stuff, it does not make me feel good after I eat it. And so for a long time, I was just like, I'm not making that because it makes me sick feeling. So when Kyle and I, not long after we got married, I was like venturing out and trying to find all different recipes for sloppy joes until I finally came across one I really, really liked. And this has been my keeper of all times of the recipe of sloppy joes. So I love this sloppy joe recipe. And that's why I'm sharing it with you, because it's so good. Okay, so now that my sloppy joe mix is all done, let me show you what it looks like. Okay, so now it's looking real good. It's gotten a lot thicker. Everything's mixed together really well, and it smells amazing. I'm just gonna go ahead and I am going to cover it with my lid. And I'm gonna let it simmer on low for about 20 to 30 minutes. It's funny because like you spend all day like shopping, driving, shopping, coming home, emptying out your car, unloading all your groceries in the kitchen, and then going through everything, sorting through everything, putting everything up, and then doing what I did and having to go through all your meat and seal all that, get it all prepped, clean up the area, do the dishes, and then it's time for dinner. And a lot of times, and I know I'm not the only one who's like, we're having pizza tonight, or we're having some cereal tonight, guys, because you're just like, it's a lot. But I'm trying not to be like that as much. So that's why I left all my stuff out. I kind of knew how to game plan, and I knew, hey, we're having sloppy joes tonight after I get done with everything. So while my sloppy joes are simmering for 20 to 30 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the mess that I just made making my sloppy joes. And then I am gonna get my buns out of the freezer. I'm gonna show you what those look like. And yeah, then we're gonna eat. Okay, I got those buns I was telling you about, and I keep a ton of these in my freezer. So this is what they look like. They're the brioche buns, and I get these at Aldi. And the texture of these, once they thaw out, I'll show you exactly what they look like. But oh my goodness, you heat these things up and they will literally squish and melt in your mouth. They are really that good. And I'm not gonna recommend something to you that I don't stand by, like confidently. And I'm so confident that you're gonna like these. So get some from Aldi. Alrighty, so our dinner is done, our sloppy joes are done, so I'm gonna heat up those brioche buns really quick, and I'm gonna put together our sloppy joes and show you how they look now that everything's done. Here's our meat. It's all done. It's been simmering now for a little over 30 minutes because I've been busy doing some other things. So now this is done, I'm gonna go ahead and get our buns, and I have been warming up this cast iron. And I'm gonna put this on here. And I'm just gonna heat them up just for a couple minutes, maybe a minute. Last night I made a salad with a homemade vinaigrette that is really, really good. So I think some of the kids, whichever kids of mine that like salads, and me, we're gonna have some salad on the side with our sloppy joes. And the other kids will have some chips, and I'm gonna cut up some fruit, and that's gonna be our dinner for tonight. These brioche buns, I tell you, these just seriously, oh my goodness, look at this. These will literally, I'm telling you, these melt in your mouth. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit of our sloppy joe mixed and put this on our bun. I'm just gonna put it on there like this. And there we have it. A good old-fashioned sloppy joe, homemade. Okay, I'm gonna try some. This looks really, really, really good. It's so, so good. See, this is what I mean about melt in your mouth. Like these buns with this sloppy joe, I'm telling you, they just literally melt in your mouth.
Well, good.
It's good, Ellie?
Mm-hmm.
Bear, what do you think? What do you think, Bear? Is it yummy?
Mm-hmm.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.